Hello and welcome, viewers of Live Economic News. We hope you're doing well and staying informed about the latest economic developments. Today, we have some critical news to share. With the United Auto Workers' historic strike officially underway, the United States economic landscape is facing turbulence. However, it's important to note that while this strike is undoubtedly causing some bruises, experts believe its impact is unlikely to push the nation into a recession. We'll delve deeper into the reasons behind this assessment and provide you with valuable insights. To stay updated on this and other important economic news, remember the bell icon and subscribe to our channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. The statement, "That's because the unionized part of the industry, while still large, is not as big a piece of the national economy as it once was," made by Gabriel Ehrlich, an economic forecaster at the University of Michigan, highlights an essential aspect of the United Auto Workers strike's potential impact on the U.S. economy. It suggests that the influence of the unionized auto industry on the overall national economy has diminished over time. This is significant because even though the strike is affecting a substantial portion of the industry, its relative size in the broader economy is not as substantial as it used to be. However, the ultimate impact of the strike is not solely determined by the size of the industry, but also by several other crucial factors. These factors include the duration of the strike, whether companies start laying off workers at other plants, the number of workers who participate in the strike, and the duration of negotiations between the unions and companies to resolve. These variables will collectively shape the severity of the economic consequences of the strike. If the strike persists for an extended period, leads to layoffs in other sectors, or results in a protracted negotiation process, its impact on the national economy could be more significant than initially anticipated. UAW President Shawn Fain's statement, "We're not going to wreck the economy. The truth is we are going to wreck the billionaire economy," reflects a pointed perspective on the ongoing strike. While the assertion may not necessarily imply that the strike will have catastrophic consequences on the overall national economy, it underscores a specific focus on addressing wealth inequality and corporate interests. This sentiment aligns with the broader labor movement's emphasis on addressing income disparities and advocating for workers' rights. Nevertheless, estimates regarding the economic impact of the strike suggest that it may indeed have substantial consequences. To put this into perspective, if all UAW workers at major automakers like Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis were to engage in a 10-day strike, the estimated cost to the U.S. economy would be approximately $5 billion, according to calculations by the Anderson Economic Group. While this figure does not signify an economy in ruins, it does highlight the considerable financial ramifications that such labor actions can generate. These numbers underscore the delicate balance between workers' demands for fair treatment and compensation and the broader economic implications of labor disputes in a complex, interconnected economy. Another estimate by Ehrlich assumes there would be a much smaller immediate spillover effect. He estimated $440 million worth of income would be lost nationally if all the UAW members strike for 2 weeks. If the strike lasts 8 weeks, he estimates a $9.1 billion hit to incomes nationwide. Let's look at how the U.S. economy might be harmed by the strike. Number 1. Businesses near strike sites will see revenue slow. The striking members of the UAW will receive $500 a week in strike pay, which, while a helpful source of income during the strike, is unlikely to cover their usual expenses. This shortfall in income could have a ripple effect on local businesses situated near the strike locations. When UAW members reduce their spending due to the strike, these businesses may see a decline in their revenues since they depend on the patronage of workers and their families. Moreover, if the strike continues for an extended period, it may force employers located close to the affected auto plants to take drastic measures, such as laying off their workers. Tyler Thale, Vice President and Director of Public Policy at the Anderson Economic Group, has pointed out this possibility. When businesses in the vicinity of the strike sites experience reduced demand or supply chain disruptions due to the strike's prolonged duration, they may have no choice but to reduce their workforce, which could have broader implications for local employment and the regional economy. Number 2. Suppliers that work with the Big Three may have to lay off workers. Because national car inventories have not yet fully recovered to pre-pandemic levels, the major automotive manufacturers, often referred to as the Big Three, are keen to restart production as soon as the strike concludes. Gabriel Ehrlich, an economic expert, anticipates that they will delay the cancellation of orders for essential parts from their suppliers for as long as they can. This strategy is driven by their desire to minimize disruption and maintain flexibility in their production processes. However, when these automakers eventually begin canceling these orders, it will have a cascading impact throughout the network of parts suppliers. Initially, the primary suppliers directly linked with the automakers, known as Tier 1 suppliers, will attempt to retain their workforce due to concerns about rehiring difficulties should they lay off employees, a phenomenon known as waiver hoarding behavior. Nevertheless, if a strike endures for an extended period, these Tier 1 suppliers may have no alternative but to initiate layoffs. Subsequently, the effects could extend further. Tier 2 suppliers, those who provide components to Tier 1 suppliers, might also face the necessity of reducing their workforce as a consequence of this domino effect. In essence, the longer the strike persists, the wider its impact is likely to ripple through the automotive supply chain, potentially affecting employment and the broader economy. Number 3. Tax revenue will decline. When strikes lead to a reduction in the number of people working, it has a significant consequence on the government's ability to collect tax revenue. This is crucial because it directly impacts the funding available for various government programs and services. With fewer people employed, there is less income to tax, which means the government will have fewer resources to allocate to essential programs and services. For instance, at the state level in Michigan, where many of the strikes are concentrated, economist Gabriel Ehrlich has estimated that if the strike continues for 2 weeks, the state could experience a substantial decrease of $10.6 million in tax revenue. This reduction in revenue can strain the state's budget and potentially lead to cutbacks in funding for important programs, affecting services that residents rely on. In essence, the strike's impact on tax revenue has wider implications for public services and government operations, making it an important consideration in assessing its consequences. Number 4. Cars could get more expensive. According to estimates by the Anderson Economic Group, if the strike persists for 10 days, approximately 25,000 vehicles will not be manufactured. This shortfall in production could have a notable consequence. It might result in higher car prices, particularly given the current tight inventory levels in the automotive market, as noted by Tyler Thale. When supply is constrained due to factors like a strike, demand tends to outstrip supply, leading to price increases for consumers. However, it's important to keep things in perspective. Jonathan Smoke, the chief economist for Cox Automotive, points out that while the strike will have economic repercussions, it is unlikely to reach the magnitude of disruptions by the COVID-19 pandemic and the computer chip shortages, which significantly disrupted the entire U.S. auto industry in recent years. Nonetheless, it's worth noting that the prices of new vehicles have already shown a notable increase, with the August Consumer Price Index reporting a nearly 3% rise compared to the previous year. This suggests that any additional pressures on supply, such as those resulting from the strike, could further impact vehicle prices, potentially affecting consumers' purchasing decisions. As we move forward, it's crucial to stay informed about the developments and their potential impact. How do you think this strike will evolve in the coming weeks, and what do you believe its ultimate consequences will be? We value your insights and would love to hear from you in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and activate the bell icon to stay updated with the latest economic news and analysis. Your support and engagement are greatly appreciated. Thank you for joining us on Live Economic News.